They built an empire together, 6 rings, 11 years of pure dominance, the most lethal partnership basketball has ever seen. But today, Scottie Pippen calls Michael Jordan selfish. He says Jordan ruined basketball. He claims LeBron James is the real greatest of all time. Meanwhile, Jordan stays silent, refusing to even acknowledge his former teammate's existence. This is the story of how a documentary, created to celebrate their legacy, became the match that ignited basketball's most devastating feud. Two legends who trusted each other with their lives on the court now can't trust each other with their shared history. Pippen spent decades in Jordan's shadow, sacrificing everything for those championships. When The Last Dance aired, it was supposed to be their final bow together. Instead, it became Pippen's breaking point. For the first time in his life, he decided to speak his truth, no matter how ugly it got. What you're about to witness isn't just a beef between two former teammates. It's the complete destruction of basketball's greatest brotherhood, told through the eyes of the man who finally refused to stay quiet. This is Scottie Pippen's war against Michael Jordan's silence. The Chicago Bulls draft Scottie Pippen with the 5th pick. Michael Jordan is already a star, but he's stuck. 3 years in, no titles, and the bad boy Pistons own his soul. Jordan needs help. He just doesn't know it yet. Pippen arrives from nowhere, Central Arkansas, population irrelevant. But he brings something Jordan's never had, a wingman who can guard anyone, pass like magic, and rebound like a forward. More importantly, he brings something else Jordan desperately needs. Someone willing to sacrifice everything for championship. Their first conversation sets the tone. Jordan pulls him aside after practice and says, "You're going to guard Magic Johnson this year. Think you can handle that?" Pippen doesn't flinch. "I can handle anybody." It's not arrogance, it's partnership. Jordan smiles. He's found his perfect complement, someone who won't back down, won't complain, and won't need the spotlight to shine. This is who Pippen chooses to be, the man who takes the toughest defensive assignment every night so Jordan can focus on scoring, the one who gives up touches, headlines, and Hall of Fame numbers for something bigger. In 1991, he averages 17.8 points per game. He could have dropped 25 on another team, but this isn't another team. This is the Bulls, and Scottie knows exactly who he needs to be. 6 championships, 11 years of dominance, all of it built on the same foundation, Jordan scoring, Pippen's everything else. The 93 finals, 22 points, 8.7 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 2.9 steals, numbers that would make him a superstar anywhere else. But here, he's the ultimate second option, the weapon disguised as a supporting actor. Still, something simmers beneath the celebrations. The endorsements go to Jordan. The magazine covers, the MVPs, the history books. They all lean one way. Pippen keeps smiling, keeps telling himself it's worth it. That rings are all that matter. And he believes it, until reality hits. Jordan makes $33 million, 0 cents in his final season. Pippen makes $2,700,000, 0 cents. The best two-way player in the league, the glue of a dynasty, is paid less than bench warmers. In 1991, he signs a 7-year deal that becomes the worst contract in NBA history. Not because he was too good to be paid that little. The frustration builds in silence. Until 1997, when Pippen delays surgery to recover during the season instead of the summer. Jordan calls him selfish, but Pippen sees it differently. He's given his body for 7 years while being treated like a role player. For once, he chooses himself. Game 6. Jordan hits the most iconic shot in NBA history, Bulls vs. Jazz. As the ball drops, Pippen is already thinking about what comes next, about legacy, about whether he'll ever be remembered for what he helped build. Confetti falls. They embrace 6 titles, the greatest duo in basketball history, and Pippen believes deep down that this is the ending they both earned. He has no idea that will be their final moment together. No idea that everything they built is about to be twisted, framed, and remembered without him. All he knows is that he's won everything. And somehow, it still doesn't feel like enough. Basketball's Hall of Fame. Jordan thanks Pippen first. In 2010, he even presents Scottie at his own induction. They embrace again, brothers in arms. The public sees legacy, but the cracks are already forming. Pippen has been holding in frustration for years. On ESPN, Pippen says he'd never pick LeBron over Michael.
And there's no game that I would ever play in and pick LeBron James over Michael Jordan.
The loyalty's still there, the respect's still there, but it's brittle now, held together by years of sacrifice and the hope that history would be fair. But it hasn't been. Jordan controls the narrative. Jordan gets the crown. And Pippen, he's just the sidekick. The greatest sidekick ever, sure, but still a supporting character in someone else's legend. What happens when the sidekick decides he's tired of being second? What happens when loyalty turns to resentment? What happens when the man who sacrificed everything realizes he's been erased from his own story? March 2020, the world shuts down. Sports disappear overnight. ESPN steps in with the perfect answer. 10 hours of never-before-seen footage from the greatest basketball team ever assembled. The Last Dance. What nobody knows is that this documentary, marketed as a celebration of greatness, is about to destroy the greatest partnership in NBA history. Michael Jordan has editorial control. This isn't a documentary about the Bulls, it's Jordan's version of the Bulls. His story, his truth. Scottie Pippen sits for interviews. He opens up, shares memories, reflects on glory. He believes their partnership will finally get the balanced recognition it deserves. He still trusts Michael. But that trust is about to be shattered forever. April 19, 2020, Episode 1 premieres. Over 6 million viewers tune in. The highest-rated documentary in ESPN history. From the start, it's clear. This is Jordan's show. His voice drives the story. His greatness anchors every beat. Pippen appears, but he's not a co-star, he's a footnote. Episode 2 zooms in on his contract dispute and his decision to delay surgery in '97. The framing is subtle but cutting. Pippen wasn't loyal, he was selfish. He made things harder for Michael, who's portrayed as the suffering hero surrounded by flawed teammates. Pippen watches from his Chicago home. His jaw tightens. This isn't how it happened. This isn't the truth. Jordan was paid $10 million, 0 cents for the project. Pippen, nothing. None of them. All they get is a glossy rewrite that paints Jordan as a god and the rest as lucky passengers. 10 episodes, 10 hours of Bulls history, and Pippen gets depth in just one. Kerr is barely mentioned. Grant is accused of betrayal. Rodman is treated like comic relief. The message is loud and clear. Jordan won. Jordan suffered. Jordan carried. Everyone else? Replaceable. This wasn't a documentary. It was propaganda, and it worked. The internet explodes with Jordan worship. The GOAT myth grows even louder. And Scottie Pippen, the man who gave up everything for those rings, is once again left behind. When it ends, Jordan's legacy is bigger than ever. But Pippen is seething. He sends Jordan a text. "We need to talk." Jordan replies, "Call me." But the call never happens. Pippen doesn't want a conversation. He wants revenge. Months later, Unguarded hits the shelves. The title is a warning shot. This time, Scottie won't be polite. For 30 years, he kept it professional. Now, he's burning everything down. He calls Jordan selfish, a bad teammate. He mocks the flu game, questions Jordan's leadership, says the Bulls didn't win because of Jordan. They won in spite of him. It's a full-scale attack on the Jordan myth. Jordan's response? Nothing. No press statement. No interviews. Just silence. But Pippen doesn't stop. He hits every podcast, every interview, every camera. Same message. Jordan is not the GOAT. The Last Dance was a lie. LeBron James is better. The Bulls were great because of all of us, not just one man. The media runs wild with it. Every sports show has the same question. Pippen or Jordan? Hero or hater? And through it all, Jordan never speaks. Pippen looks more bitter, more angry. The documentary that was supposed to honor their bond has become the gravestone of their friendship. The Last Dance didn't bring them together. It tore them apart forever. The Brotherhood is gone. The war has begun, and only one of them is still fighting. Scottie Pippen keeps swinging. Every interview is another jab. He's not just calling out The Last Dance anymore, he's calling out the entire mythology, the media, the fans, the NBA machine that crowned Jordan king and left Pippen in the shadows. The war isn't strategic now. It's personal, and it's public. He calls Jordan a bad teammate, says he never elevated others, claims the Bulls were a system, not a one-man show. He starts naming names, points fingers, rips apart narratives that stood unchallenged for decades. But behind all the fury, there's something deeper. A man who stayed silent for too long, and now, finally, refuses to hold anything back. Meanwhile, Jordan doesn't say a word. That silence, it's not weakness, it's control. And that control drives Pippen mad. For 3 decades, Jordan controlled everything. The ball, the spotlight, the story, and now he's controlling the feud without ever lifting a finger. Every time Pippen speaks, it's met with silence that makes him seem smaller. And the silence? It speaks louder than anything Jordan could say. Then it gets worse. The headlines shift from basketball to betrayal. Marcus Jordan, Michael's son, is now dating Larsa Pippen, Scottie's ex-wife. Tabloid chaos, Instagram explosions. But deeper than the clickbait is a wound that can't be stitched. What was once a partnership is now generational warfare. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about legacy, respect, identity. Pippen once told the world he'd never choose LeBron over Michael. Now he's calling LeBron the greatest of all time. Not out of objectivity, but out of protest. If the world insists on forgetting what Pippen did for Jordan, then he'll help tear that pedestal down himself. It's not about who's better. It's about who was fair. And to Pippen, Jordan hasn't been fair since the day he held that last dance contract in his hand. The fans are split. Some call Pippen bitter, some call him brave, but all agree this isn't the man we once knew. The quiet warrior is gone. In his place is someone raw, angry, and tired of being edited out of history. And the more he speaks, the more people wonder, is this really a meltdown? Or is this the truth we were never allowed to hear? Through it all, Jordan stays on his throne. Just a quiet truth, one man gave everything for greatness, and when he finally asked to be seen, the world had already chosen who the legend belonged to. If this story made you see the game and its legends a little differently, don't let it stop here. Share the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about the truth behind the dynasty. Was Pippen finally speaking up or speaking out of bitterness? Hit subscribe for more untold stories that go beyond the box score.